I was not expecting to be that emotionally invested in it, but goddamn, did the movie do its job.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Will and welcome back to another quick review here on the channel. I'm finally taking a look or giving my quick review for Godzilla Minus One. I just saw it today in theaters and yeah, let's talk about it. This is directed by Takashi Yamazaki. I'm going to preface this right now. I am so sorry if I butcher anyone's names or pronunciations. I'm trying my best here. This is, I'm assuming, the reboot of the Godzilla franchise. It takes place immediately after the end of World War II, so Japan is still struggling to recover from the air raids and the attacks. And it doesn't help that the emergence of Godzilla to kind of wreak havoc on already a war-torn Japan leaves the people in a very vulnerable state, and they have to fight to survive what they've already gone through, as well as this new threat from the King of the Monsters. If this happens to be your first time checking out one of my videos, hi, my name is Will and I do geeky stuff on the internet. I do reviews and reactions, discussions, some gaming, some drinking, a whole bunch of different stuff here on the channel. I just like to have fun and I hope you do as well. If you happen to enjoy this video, and you're interested in hearing more from a geeky bear like myself, please subscribe to the channel. It would greatly help me out. I would really appreciate it. So let's talk about Godzilla Minus One. I checked out the second trailer for Godzilla Minus One a few weeks ago, and it just blew the hell up on the channel. A lot of people checked it out, and a lot of people seem to have enjoyed my reaction to it. So of course I was going to go check this thing out in theaters, because I've seen some of the past Godzilla movies, mostly the American-made Godzilla movies, but this was my first one, honestly, in theaters, getting to watch straight from Toho Productions. So I was very much happy to check it out, and I gotta say, it's a hell of a good movie. It's really good. It's probably the best monster movie I've ever seen. Not from just a sense of like the scope of the monster and the destruction like you get with a lot of the American-made monster type movies like your Pacific Rim or even the Godzilla franchise that we got here. It was the surprise of how emotional of a story that it was going to tell with this huge force of nature in the background, pretty much. The movie's main character or main focus is on a man named Koichi. Yeah. Sorry, Koichi? Koichi, yeah. The movie's main focus is on a man named Koichi. I'm not even going to attempt to try to do the last name. I'm sorry. I want to say it is, I'm looking over here. It's just going to happen because I don't want to screw up the names. Koichi Kishima. Yes. He is a World War II fighter pilot, primarily a kamikaze pilot who doesn't go through with it, and that sort of guilt kind of stays with him, especially with his first initial encounter with Godzilla. Oh, this is non-spoiler, sorry, this is just the basics, just to kind of explain the movie. He has a lot of baggage, pretty much, from all of it pretty much stemming from survivor's guilt, and a lot of people do, because this is at the end of World War II. Japan has been ravaged by air raids, so its citizens are the ones who have to pay the price for the governments of the world going at it with each other. And that's kind of the general consensus of this movie. It focuses on such a devastating real world war. It shows what a lot of them don't, a lot of movies like this, in terms of like war movies, they focus more on the soldier side of things. They don't focus as much on the what's left after the fighting stops. With a lot of them innocent civilians who are just caught in the crossfire, people who have died, people who are left to survive, have to find a way to move forward and live with the sense that they survived while others died. That's what survivor's guilt basically is. At a certain point, people find a way to move on, but then the world or nature decides to show humanity some of the sins of their past actions by bringing forth Godzilla, who is a direct result of the war and the bombs and things like that, and it becomes a fight for survival. The notion, or at least the drive that is moving Godzilla through this movie doesn't feel malicious. Like, it's just nature, and it's just basically how he's moving forward through this new version of himself, because when we first introduced him, he's not as big as he was, and he gets bigger by the end of the movie. So it's interesting to see how humanity responds to something that they have no control over, basically. It's a force of nature that rips through this, and it is impressive, and I give it up to the director and everyone who worked on this movie to present Godzilla in a sense that I was legitimately nervous for the people in the movie when his scenes were there, when he was interacting with other characters on screen. His presence and just that, especially that initial introduction to him, was almost jump scary for myself. And I'm a chicken shit when it comes to certain things. I shouldn't have been with this, but it was just like, I was nervous for everyone involved, and it was brutal. Like, the way he was just tearing through stuff, the brutality that it showed, it didn't turn away from any of it, and it showed the power and the force of the character. And one of my gripes with American-made, like, monster movies like this is that they try to get people invested in the human element of the movies to lesser successes than I think this movie was able to do. I was immediately into these character stories because they already went through hell. It's like, you can't see someone go through so much pain and loss and not feel for that character, because it felt so impactful that I don't think any of the other movies that the Americanized franchise has really been able to tap into. It's like, a lot of times when I watch those movies, it's like, don't care, you're dead anyway. This one, I was like, this is your only way out. You're gonna have to drop into the water. Good luck. And there were some twists and turns and things like that happened towards the end of the movie that I wasn't expecting, that genuinely brought out a emotional response. Like, I actually kind of teared up. And you can tell a movie's good when you see it in theaters, when the audience does clap at the end of the movie, showing a sign of respect that this was such a good movie. And it really was. Little fun fact, though, because of a lot of the actors and stuff, there was one character in particular, he's one of the younger guys with the group that hangs around Koichi. And again, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken the name, but it was a younger guy in the movie. He looked so familiar, and it wasn't until halfway through the movie I recognized who it was. And as a big fan of Super Sentai, he actually is the actor who portrayed Joe Gibkin, who was Gokai Blue in Kazoku Sentai Gokaiger, which is one of my favorite Super Sentai. So I was very surprised to see him, but I was very happy to see him. And I was just like, please don't die. Please don't die. But that was other things. The movie itself, it's inspiring in the sense that it took the people uniting to really try to survive. And that sense of human endurance and camaraderie, and these people who already went through war, already went through so much hardship, and these are the people that survived the war. And I'm talking about like soldiers and things like that who actually made it home. All of them dealing with their own different emotional tolls that they went through. Some don't want to leave their families. Others are like, the war is all they kind of knew, or they were just following orders and things like that. But this time, it was much more like, this is your choice. Like, if you want to stand or if you want to go, no one's going to force you. And I really love that. I really love the emotional impact that these characters experience with each other, but it's just doubled down more once they have to deal with the emergence of Godzilla, and how they didn't necessarily focus so much on Godzilla's character, because Godzilla itself is just a force. He is just nature's force presented in such an undeniably huge threat to regular humanity, but it's also the end result of humanity's destruction and conflict and things like that directly led to its creation. Another very surprising thing about this movie that I think works on so many levels is that they're able to do so much from a graphical standpoint too. Like, Godzilla's design was super cool. You saw it in the trailers how his dorsal fins end up like erecting right before he gave off his heat wave or his atomic blast. It's like a gunshot, and the The sound design really made you feel everything in the movie, which I really loved. And I love the design of how they did that, and just the subtle things too, like the facial expression, because you can tell when he was pissed or misunderstood, however you want to see it. It was really well done and well designed and well shot, especially for something that was only 15 million. When you think about some of the big blockbusters that have come out here in the US over the course of the last 2 years, and how hit or miss they are, or how people complain about the graphics and things like that, this movie excelled in all of that at a fraction of what we spend. And it's very interesting to see where this franchise goes from here, especially if this is kind of a rebooted franchise for the Godzilla mythos. I'm very excited to see another installment of this. And there was also like an interview with the director that he was interested in directing a Star Wars movie, which I think would be really cool. But then I also think how toxic Star Wars fans can be and how that is just a nightmare unto itself. So I don't know if I want this man to be exposed to any of that. But you do you. If you want to direct Star Wars, I will be first in line to watch it after this movie, for sure. Really well scored. The soundtrack of this movie was impactful and beautiful. Me as an audience member was able to get into these characters with knowing very little about them, and terrified when they were in situations when Godzilla was on a rampage is a testament to how this movie was structured and how well it was written. It's really well done. So happy I got to see this thing in theaters. I would love to see it again. But it has a somewhat happy ending too. And the important idea of like to be able to survive such an adverse and tragic situation and to find a way to live and survive is just a testament to the people involved and the people who lived through this entire devastating time. And to be compounded in a fictional sense with a giant monster that decides he's got a bone to pick with you, you know, it's pretty impressive. It's a pretty impressive movie. Go enjoy the movie. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, it was a really good movie. It was a really enjoyable time at the movies, and I can't say more good things about it. It's a dope Godzilla movie. It's really well done. So that's going to do it for this quick review for Godzilla -1. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments down below. Try to keep it spoiler free. I know I might have said one or two little spoilery things, but it is a really well done movie. It's well directed, well acted. Sound design is fantastic. The design of Godzilla looks dope. I love how they do the dorsal fin into the atomic blast. It's awesome. It is awesome sauce. As always, thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you were new here and you happen to enjoy this review, please subscribe to the channel if you would be so kind, or at least like and share it around the internet if you would as well. You can follow me on a lot of different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. I do have a ton of videos on this channel right now that you're more than welcome to check out. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.